Is the musical score at all like that? I mean,
sure. I mean, always in music, you're conscious of this, but I think I'm all the more conscious of things entering together, but maybe one ending before the other. And what does that do as opposed to if they ended together?
Yeah.
So these kinds of adjacencies in the music I'm very
Were you giving your musicians like a set of pitches and they kind of improvise a little bit within a structure kind of similar to this?
Let me talk about that. It's actually a written out score with strict tempo and strict rhythmic and pitch notations. But what I'm composing are little snippets of music, fragments of music, and sometimes just single sounds. So these sort of isolated sound events, with extended silences in between. A lot of times in dance, what I feel is when I look at it, that it doesn't need a lot of music. I'm talking about contemporary dance mostly, and especially Ursula's work. I've always thought when watching it that maybe it needs a sound here, a sound there. 5 minutes later, maybe a phrase, but just very small amounts of sound to actually accompany it. Her work can really handle, the sort of silent focus. So I thought it'd be very nice to be able to do that. So I'm composing isolated sound events, and we're going to sort of decide. The work is going to be about 45 minutes, and I'm maybe going to compose a total of 20 minutes of music, something like that, or even less. And we're going to decide where each of those sound events should happen, depending on how they read the score and how we feel, when we look at it together, where are good moments for music to happen. So that's not set yet, but the music itself, the small pieces of music are strict, but when they're going to happen throughout the piece is not set.
Yeah. So the musicians and the dancers, are going to have to be like really aware of each other and what they're doing.
That's the
is
whole
that
point.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is, I just want to add that one thing that we're learning from the score and the way that Cenk has, he's spoken about the attention to, entrances and conclusions, and is that it requires this level of hyper awareness to the other people in the space, and that level of hyper is like a certain kind of attention and energy that we're arranging the whole work around. And one thing that we recently discovered, and we were kind of, one consideration is what to do in the pauses, like what is the physicality of this pause? Do we, are we just like watching somebody else dance? Is that, and we recently decided that what makes the most sense in terms of this level of attention is to be balancing throughout the pauses, because in a balance you bring, it's like the same quality of attention with yourself that you have with the other individuals in the room. I mean, it's an energetic thing, so we're looking at, really, I don't know, interrogating and maintaining this specific energetic attention.
Pauses, you mean like no movement, no sound?
Yeah, where you see, well, I don't know where the sound is because it's not actually in here yet. So
if there's
a pause where they're not moving, or what is their body doing? Like it's not long and they're not going to, there's no stage to leave. So what are they doing when it's not? There's nothing indicated here.
So at the top, each line, each penciled line is a dancer. The black lines represent when they're active, and pausing means the black line has ended. They're going to hold their pause.
Okay.
That way, but in some kind of precariousness.
Balance, some kind of balance.
Yeah.
And to coordinate this, you're acting not so unlike musicians when they are cueing each other to enter together or to end together. You have to be consciously watching each other, but you're not watching each other directly.
Right.
You're watching each other through the reflection of the mirror.
Yeah. So I think it is evident when you're in the room. It's like, I don't know, a little weak to be talking about it, but there's like a level of precarious, like hyper attention.
So are you bringing your dancers into the space? When you're here for that period of time. When do you bring the musicians in? Because how much of that is going to be part of this whole process if they're so involved, as you say, with each other? Because you know,
Right.
sometimes it's like, okay, musicians rehearse their stuff separate from the dancers,
Yeah.
but this obviously is something.
It's a bit of
different.
both. So
Yeah.
the dancers are going to come to another studio. One of the instruments in this piece is vibraphone, and it's hard to carry vibraphones around.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to go to where the vibraphone is, to the Soul Percussion Studio in Brooklyn, and the trio of musicians is going to rehearse there. And for the second half of the rehearsal, the dancers are going to come join, and Ursula's going to, they're going to watch that day.
Mm-hmm.
On the day of the performance, we carved out a big chunk of time to get together and rehearse together, musicians and dancers, and really nail down those sort of interactions between the dance and music. So we're, as much as possible, we're trying to not make them separate things. But.